fast. This I know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyone we ever met and did not spoken this morning? Thank you. My name is Ishmael BETT from Association of Kenya Suppliers. I'm very grateful to be part of today's engagement. When I got an invitation for this forum, I think it's open to Regina and Anthony working together. I was happy that it's actually the right time to discuss these things and find a solution to what we, for a very long time, believing it's a normal way of doing things. And given the fact that we are in an environment and a place where things changes very quickly, technology, everything else keeps changing very quickly, then it's the most ideal time for us to actually pick up from where we are and move forward. So I was asked to actually give an opening remarks, keynote address from the Association of Kenya Suppliers. For those who may not know, I think we've been working with our sister here, with Cobra, for the longest in the industry. Ours, from the Association of Kenya Suppliers, we are a PMO that takes care of the interests of suppliers in Kenya. Suppliers being the manufacturers, the importers, the distributors, the farm producers, as an advocacy group and a lobby group. We've been working so closely with RETRAC on the other end. They sit on the other side of the retailers, we sit on the other side of the suppliers. We working so closely with KAM. I don't know if there's anyone from KAM or yes, with KAM being the representative of manufacturers. We've been working closely with Shippers Council and many other stakeholders in the industry. Basically, to advocate and lobby on behalf of our members. That aside, today, what brings us together here, you can see a representative from the RETRAC. We have a representative from other industries. Today, what brings us together is one very common denominator, that we have a challenge: food waste. Not necessarily, or not actually per se, on the retail sector or in the trading space. It goes beyond in our homes. If I can ask a very simple question: who have ever thrown away a fruit simply because he or she could not eat in your lifetime? Who will? We want to know who have never, or you've never thrown one. I didn't see your answer. Oh, it was up. I didn't see. All right, okay. So all of us, we at one point done that. Not necessarily that because the food was bad, you could not consume it in time, which is acceptable and also not acceptable. Because when it spoils, it's not. It's acceptable to be thrown. But again, it's not acceptable because it could have been put in better use, and it been that it was done a bit earlier. Is this working? Oh, no, I'm not using them. I see it's on and off. So imagine a shelf of milk struck high on a Monday. By Thursday, our rates expired. Not because people didn't want it, but because we misjudged, mishandled, or timed it. All of us here have in lifetime thrown away some food, which we agree. That is basically food loss and waste. Now that we agree, it's a common challenge to all of us. Then should we live with it? Should we look for solution? Should we address it? Or which is the way forward? Or should we just continue as it's normal? It's normal way of doing things. Yes, if it is a shared challenge, can it also be a shared opportunity? Our good friends from Richard can tell you, in most of their members' stores and shops, they pattern at one point, at any given time, about food that's about to expire, or goods that are about to expire. We've had, the other day, you saw in the video, here in Mombasa, some people are trying to repackage cooking oil worth 100 million shillings, simply because it had expired. But they want to repackage, which is an illegality. And this has been going on with other products. Now, so where is the problem? Can we find a solution to these problems? Now, globally, over 1 billion tons of food are wasted every year. 8 to 10% of global greenhouse gases simply because are actually emitted simply because of food waste. It's nearly $1 trillion in value. Those are global figures. If you have other sources that gives you other figures, I accept. I source mine from a credible site. In sub-Saharan, for instance, 30 to 40% of food is post-harvest. Those are post-harvest waste. In Kenya, about 3 in every 10 harvest groups never reach consumers. These are not just numbers. It means something. The reason we are here today is we want to use these numbers, look at the opportunities that can actually turn these numbers into value. Numbers are powerful. And at almost 100 kilograms per person per year in Kenya. I mean, it's like if you translate the same to a Kenyan situation, it's like one person is actually throwing away 100 kilograms of food into waste per year. That translates to about 72 billion in losses. Now, let's see how this one affects our shares. If you are in business, I don't know, we didn't have an introduction to know who we're doing in the room. Who is doing business here? What kind of business? You are in trade. Brilliant. Farming. Brilliant. Who else is doing business here? You are in trade. Trade. Good. You know what losses are. I know you know what losses are. It might not be so visible to anyone, but it's so visible to you. When something or somebody tells you you can easily run into losses, you feel uncomfortable. Now, we've looked at some of the global figures. Let's zero into the Kenyan situation. I've given you one example. One in Mombasa, 100 million worth of cooking oil that were about to expire. They are repackaging. Here in Busia, we had a value of goods worth 750 which were sodas, flour, biscuits, and milk, it had expired, or it expired before somebody could consume or put it to good use. In Embakasi, there was a printing firm, not a printing, but a trading firm. When they realized in their warehouse the goods were about to expire, they actually printed new expiry dates, simply because they do not want to run into those losses. You know, if you've been in business, you know, some losses can actually bring you down. Now, you've seen and our good friend is a very good testimony, or can give us a good testimony to that. You can run into some of the retail shops and find crazy offers or bundling up of products. Not that the product is bad. I can see you are smiling. It's not that the product is bad. They are our members actually. Those are our members who are your suppliers. You agree with them that, oh, it's about to expire now. What can we do? How can we push this product? Then you're like, okay, one option. Can we bundle? Can we bring the prices down? Can we those promotions, running those crazy promotions, simply because you do not want to run into losses. And it has been a very common tradition for very long, far too long. Yes, it is going on. Even today, if you walk into one of their member shops, you will find a product that is being cleared, maybe because it's almost expired. What does that, that tells us that we need to actually rethink about this thing of food, consumables, and waste, putting it to good use. Our good friend, the convener of this meeting, and I appreciate that you actually convened this meeting, but for us to digest deep into this. I know you are running a very good coming up with a technology that can help actually move these products or put into good use early enough, which is brilliant. It is the right time. Now, I've given you examples from the global perspective. I've given you examples from the Kenyan perspective. In South Africa, for instance, if you check with Competition Authority website, they will give you information as who are complaining about goods they bought that expired, which is actually very good. It's like it happens so often. And now, what are we looking at if we are talking that language? That these are businesses at risk. It's food that went to waste. It's a loss to stock. You may find being fined by the regulator every if you are ever going to do that. The reputation of the brand is actually damaged. At the same time, the customer trust will automatically be lost. And what are we saying in short? That it is a challenge that needs to be fixed. It has to be fixed. Why does this matter? For manufacturers, food loss means thinner margins. For suppliers or sellers, it's a loss of volumes. For retailers, unsold stock and reputational risks. Do we have anyone from the hospitality industry amongst ourselves? Hospitality? Very good. Karibu sana. Yes, to them, anything that goes into waste, expires, is a loss. It's a loss to ingredients and high operational expenses. But here the good news. Solution exists. I know we know the solutions. The only thing that we don't know is how do we go about it. But lucky enough, we have experts who can guide us on how do we put what we know into good use, or how do we utilize what we know to solve these challenges. It is not a theory, it's a practical it's proven, and it's profitable. It's all about taking the bold step. For those who at one point or another have taken their time to look at the hierarchy of food waste, you may realize that at the top you have the prevention, the redistribution, the recycling, the energy recovery, and disposal. But from where we sit and the group that we are dealing with today, we may only concentrate on the top two. That is the prevention and the redistribution. Of course, you know prevention what it is, and you know redistribution what it is. In short, we are saying prevention. How do we prevent it from happening? And in the event it happened, then how do we redistribute? Those are the two people, the two experts who can give you the solution. One, Agnes, will give you the solution on how do you prevent. And the second one will give you the solution on how do you redistribute. In a nutshell, that's what I'm saying. I do not want to dwell so much on the solving the problem. These are the experts. I know they have the time to explain to us how those works, including how do we leverage on the technology, the softwares and the Kaizen's principles. How do we take advantage of that? I know among ourselves, you may be in one way or another an expert in the IoT sensors or IoT technology, the AI technology. You may be in one way have interacted with a system that solves these problems. The only problem or the only thing that could have been missing is how do you leverage on what is available. Now, as I mentioned, I don't want to venture or dwell deep into the Kaizen thing. I know Regina is good at that. She will explain much on that. The only thing that we'll be asking is, why did this food expire? Was the storage wrong? She has the answer. Was the delivery delayed? She also has the answer. Did we overstock? She has the answer. She's the best person to explain that on how do we prevent. She will also explain to you, is it about the packaging? Is it about the rotation of stocks? Is it about the empowering employees? On how do you prevent those sorts from happening? Now, as I conclude, I do not want to spend much time on that. As I conclude, it's all about call to action. I've said most of these things we know, we've been involved in one way or another. The only missing thing is how do we leverage from what we know. And that's why we have experts who can help you to leverage. And when we say call to action, it's all about can we move from what we know to action points. It's a call for a collective responsibility in the fact that in any given environment, you are not in isolation. You are working with others. And the moment you leverage on that collective responsibility, definitely you will get solutions. So what am I saying in short? By end of today, it went. My expectation before we leave this room, each one of us should have actually picked 1 or 2 action points for implementation. Then the purpose of you attending this work today will have been achieved. That's my view. And that being said, I look forward to working with each one of you where you feel my support causing. Thank you very much.